Touhou new classic, Embodiment of the Scarlet Devil, is an official remake of the most popular Touhou game, Touhou 6. This is a game I don't think anyone ever expected. In 30 years, Touhou has never had one official remake, in large part thanks to most games previously being made only by one man, ZUN. But, thanks to a wide variety of circumstances, as of June 2026, we are only 3 months away from the Touhou 6 remake. The way this project was announced was super surreal. If you asked a Touhou fan where they expected the next Touhou game to be announced, I think the last thing they would have told you was, "Oh, a Nintendo Direct." This was announced in the Japanese June 2026 Nintendo Direct, which confirmed that for the first time ever, an official Touhou game was coming to Switch. Now, already, people were excited. But then the rest of the news came. We got official trailers from a new channel called Shanghai Alice Reprise. Importantly, these trailers were in different languages, and advertised that this remake was coming to different platforms. The Touhou 6 remake will be on Switch, PS5, and Steam. Additionally, the remake will come with 11 languages. There's a lot of stigma around making remakes because why not just make a new game? But Touhou 6 is like the most popular Touhou game, and it's complicated to play. You can't buy it digitally legally, you need to use external mods to make it run properly on modern computers, and then you need an external patching tool to play in the language of your choice. Like, you'd need at minimum probably 7 different websites just to play Touhou 6. So, a remake makes sense. But, this isn't just any remake. This is a dream remake. Every time I think, well, it would be nice if the remake has this, it has it. Let me explain. Now first, the translations. ZUN has famously said that he doesn't do official translations because he thinks the fans will do better than any corporation. He has continually been proven right in some areas too. The Lotus Eater's official translation got off to a ghoulish start, I'll say. The Touhou 15.5 official translation that was done through Twilight Frontier, and not ZUN, is, bad. And then 17.5, which as far as I'm aware actually does have a good translation, has a translation locked to Switch because of the publisher. So, what did ZUN do to ensure these official translations would be good? Doesn't that break his mantra? Well, no. He approved of the most Touhou decision possible. The translations in the EOSD remake were done by fan translation groups. We've got Paradise of Boundaries for Spanish, Chronica Steg and Sokio for Brazilian Portuguese, and more. For the English team, they even got somebody who works on fan manga scans. That's wild. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel with a ton of fresh new localizations, the remake team tapped into Touhou's core culture, its passionate fan base. Okay, but then the game itself. Yes, we talk about preservation with remakes, but if the game is different, then is it really preservation? Well, that's why this game offers 2 modes, New Classic and Classic. Classic mode is an experience designed to replicate the original game as closely as possible. The same music, old sprites, and even aspect ratio. So we have solid translations, and the original version as intact as it can be. But then there's the remake itself. So the first thing people were thrown off by was the art. Believe me, I get it. It's like, upscaled? It was quite uncanny seeing art so close to ZUN's original drawings. Well, as said in a press announcement, the portraits were drawn by Kure of Aqua Style. They replicated ZUN's drawings as closely as they could. I for one cannot wait to see this portrait in HD. For boss sprites, we have Umbara, who worked on the Touhou Fighters and Touhou 19. They look excellent and have a lot of personality. Then for the player sprites, we have ZUN's wife, Ki. As said in the game's press release, she finished the sprites 2 weeks before the Nintendo Direct deadline, and then went to a PTA meeting. Talk about a power move. The HUD is also super nice. I believe this is the first time a main Touhou shmup has ever been in widescreen. To take up the extra space, we have these beautiful drawings of the game's location on the left for each stage. We'll have a dynamic HUD for each level. You might have noticed that I mentioned a bunch of different artists. Earlier, I already mentioned the circle, Shanghai Alice Reprise. This is a new circle formed by Zune, as well as members of Twilight Frontier, who made the Touhou fighting games, and members of Aqua Style. There may be more members we don't know about, but what's important to note is the people in this circle know Touhou, and have worked within the series for years. The remake project started because some programmers got a build of 6 working on Switch. Thinking about how Touhou 6 is hard to run in modern times, Zune agreed to their idea of doing a remake. This is the first time a main Touhou shmup has been programmed by someone other than Zune. For gameplay, we have some adjustments in the new Classic mode. The big one that core fans noticed is a hitbox indicator on the player. Now, I'm one of those weirdos who actually likes that Touhou 6 doesn't have a hitbox, since I think the patterns are designed around that idea. But also, I'm not going to go to war and say the game is worse because it's there now. The lack of a visible hitbox is a complaint a lot of Touhou players had, so I'm glad we have it. There's a new Infinite Lives mode, and while we don't know what it does yet, Zune did give design input on the mode, so it's not just a toggle. There's probably some changes to the core game in that mode. I actually think this matters for one really important reason. Children. Touhou is huge with kids in Japan. Here's a drawing from Kamiya's niece. But, a shmup is kind of a huge leap if you don't play that many video games. I think an Infinite Lives mode is a great way for Touhou's large audience of children to get into the game. And of course, other casual gamers too. We don't know any other changes yet. I personally would love to see spell practice in Touhou 6. But, there's one big thing I have not mentioned yet. The music. The entire original Wave soundtrack is included with the game. So that's good. But Zune himself is doing a complete rearrange of the soundtrack. The arranges are taking a very interesting turn. So, Touhou 6 was originally composed for MIDI, and the Wave versions were made later. Some of the Wave songs sound different from the MIDI versions. But then, take a listen to this snippet of the title theme from the remake. Yep, it sounds a lot closer to the MIDI version. Not all of the songs are one-to-one, but from the few we have, you can hear them take influences from the MIDIs. It's almost like Zune wavified the MIDIs, which I think is a cool way to do the arranged soundtrack. That's about all we know about the remake functionality-wise, but I wanted to talk about something big. Impact. Outside of maybe Touhou going to Steam, this might be the biggest thing to ever happen to the main series itself. Touhou 6 going to consoles is going to expand the audience massively. Even in Japan, assuming you could get all the tools to run Touhou 6 right, you would still need access to a computer with a CD drive. There's a lot of casual consumers who don't have that, and I bet a ton of kids don't even know how to use a CD. But buying a game from the eShop? That's easy. And then there's languages. A lot of people have the misconception that you can only get Touhou through piracy overseas because the games are all only visible if you enable the ability to view games from foreign languages on Steam. With a translation that doesn't require a fan patcher, that's gone. The game supports 11 languages, which is 10 more than any official Touhou shmup has ever been available in without mods. This will definitely be the best-selling Touhou game, but we have no idea by how much yet. Even non-Touhou fans were upset that this game wasn't featured in the American Nintendo Direct. So, it seems like we're in for a new wave. And then lastly, there's the future to speculate about. Zune not doing the programming anymore has massive implications. If this arrangement continues outside of the remake line, then he can focus more on the storytelling, characters, patterns, and more. It's a lot less stressful for him. But notice I said remake line. Shanghai Alice Reprise's bio says that they want to make Touhou Project games playable on modern platforms. Now, Japanese can be a bit vague in terms of plurals, but it seems like this might not just be Touhou 6. We could get the missing games from Steam in the future. which are the most popular. We still need Touhou 7 and Touhou 8. So, this could just be the beginning. This is the most significant Touhou game announcement that's ever happened since I started making videos on the series 6 years ago. And it's no exaggeration to say that the series is never going to be the same after this is done. But, this is still a very core Touhou project. It's got work from several dedicated fans poured into it. It keeps the original spirit of the game alive, both literally with the classic mode, and metaphorically with the faithfulness of the art. And it's got the Zune flair from his directing and new arrangements. Zune said in the press release, making and selling fan works without needing approval from him, as long as he followed the guidelines, is still okay. Touhou may change, but its spirit will stay alive. And to top it all off, outside of Japan, the Touhou 6 remake launches on 9/9, Cherno Day. I hope I'll see you then.